Hello and welcome everyone back to the Wrestling13ean channel. I am your host Jose, and tonight we're going to be reviewing AEW Saturday Night Collision for August 19th, 2023. Now, let's go see how the show was. Before I start the show, all my thoughts and prayers to everyone in Maui, Hawaii, with all the wildfires going on. Please donate if you can. It all goes to a great cause, to the families. If you can, directly go to a GoFundMe for any particular family, any group that you think would benefit those who are really in need. Both this show and Dynamite this past Wednesday, all the proceedings that they earned for their merchandise and all was all promotional work. Fight for the Fallen. It all goes to the proceeds of Maui. So I want to give all my respects to AEW and WWE also, who is doing the same thing. But with that, let's get on with the show. First off, after our beginning promos and our grand entrance, we first start the show with Samoa Joe. I guess it was supposed to be a squash match, but awaiting him in the ring was some mystery masked golden opponent. And before Joe even gets in the ring, this mysterious man comes out, starts to attack Samoa Joe, and then starts doing some particular moves, including the GTS, meaning the guy behind the mask was CM Punk. And right after, he takes off the mask and then tells Joe he is on, accepting his challenge for London Wembley. We're getting CM Punk and Samoa Joe again at All In, Wembley Stadium. This is going to be fantastic. Great start to the show. Next up, we then have our first official match of the night with Jay White versus Don Castle. And this was fantastic. The only thing I have to say is I don't know if there was a problem with sound mixing or if the crowd just really wasn't into it, which is sad because this looks like a very packed crowd. They were quiet the whole time, going mild at every move. But to no fault of the wrestlers, take away the crowd response, this was still a fantastic match between the two. All the reversals from Jay White, all the suplexes from Don Castle, all the shenanigans with the Bang Bang Club and the boys outside. I'm gonna give this 4 stars, a 4-star match. Now, on to the next one. As we come back from commercial, we are met with Jay White and the rest of the Bang Bang Club still in the ring after their match, or after Jay's match, to have a few words for Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Adam Page for their trios match at All In. But this isn't just a few words for the other trio. Juice Robinson and the Guns want a warm-up, so they challenge any other trios teams to come and fight them, which prompts the Iron Savages to come and meet them in the ring. This then leads to our third official match of the night, the Guns and Juice Robinson versus the Iron Savages, which again was actually a pretty great match. Not a squash match like I thought it was going to be, but yet again, my only issue is with the crowd. Because in the promo before, they were all into it. They were having a great time, they were chanting, but as soon as that bell rings, quiet. Which means they're really not into the wrestling right now, or they're so focused that they're just not even making any noise. Which is great that they're paying attention, but we need some energy. We need some energy in the show. And that's all coming from the competitors. Which, also, my other note is because the crowd is so quiet, you can hear all the other competitors in the ring as they're yelling at each other. Greatly, or as I should say, smartly, everyone around isn't shouting out the moves that they're doing. They're just having great comedic spots, and they're all just meeting and having all these moves and doing everything. Again, it's great. I'm giving this another 4 stars. let's move on to the next match. Or what is coming next. Well, what we got next was basically 3 video packages. The first being from the House of Black, after attacking the Acclaim and stealing Billy Gunn's wrestling boots that he left in the ring after retiring. Then we had Rush's faction and what they're building up to. And after, lastly, we had Ricky Starks saying how every word that he said last week in his promo is still the truth, and that he's going to be, fighting full-heartedly for this. And being now a manager, he's doing it tonight with Big Bill. Now, first off, I gotta say, it's still crazy just seeing Big Bill in the ring. He is a gigantic man. 7 foot. You can't teach that. But just seeing him in the ring with this other competitor who's also huge, don't get me wrong, but just to see how much bigger Big Bill is, it's still mind-boggling sometimes. But with all that aside, this was a quick squash match. Big Bill's opponent, some guy I don't remember, I'm sorry. But after the match, just 3-4 big moves from Big Bill. Ricky Starks then starts attacking the other competitor by whipping him with the belt he stole from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and also used to whip him with. Great stuff. I can't wait to see more with Ricky and Big Bill. I think this is going to be a great pairing for the two, but only time will tell. Let's move on. This show is really flying by now. And with that said, we are with our 5th match of the night, Willow Nightingale versus Diamante. And I have to say this, even though it's just the 2nd week we've had Diamante, actually no, it's the 3rd week we've had Diamante on our screens. And honestly, I've really missed her. After a while, she just fell into the shadows. But that's because she was on their developmental show on Dark. And that's where all of her work was. And then, all of a sudden she was just gone. And apparently there was some kind of controversy with that. But I think that's all crap. They just didn't have any room for the women, and they didn't want to showcase anything. And this right here was another fantastic showcase on why the women should be put on the show more. I'm sorry for yelling, but my gosh, Willow Nightingale is a freaking star. She needs to be on our screens more. Chris Statlander, Diamante, Martinez. And that's just all the extra stuff. The match itself was really good. So good, in fact, that the crowd was finally starting to pick up and give us that energy I was talking about earlier. 5 stars. 5-star match for me. This was great. Let's move on. Sorry for the change of scenery on this one. It was just really quick and I didn't want to go from back and forth. Next up, we just got a video package of the Young Bucks and FTR and their setup for All In. So, great stuff. Good video work. Yeah, let's move on. Now, coming back from commercial, we then get a backstage interview with Lexi interviewing Toni Storm, still doing her widowed housewife gimmick, and just more evidence from what I was saying before on how great the women are on this show. And they're all just tightened down to this 15-minute window. But we just get some encouraging words from Toni saying that she's going to win the championship at Wembley. Lexi then questioning whether if Saraya is gonna be, on her side and help her win. Which alludes to some great comedic stuff, including Tony walking off and throwing, I guess, her purse? It wasn't a shoe, and if it was, it didn't look anything like a shoe. But, yeah, again, just some great stuff. Let's move on. And now we are at our 5th match of the night. We have a quick squash match with Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs, taking down some local talent. And, of course, he wins. Like I said, it's just a quick squash match. And, after the win, he then continues to attack his opponent after the bell, putting him in a submission camel clutch. The same game over move that Miro uses. Hobbs' opponent for the All Out pay-per-view the following week of All In. And, some okay stuff. Nothing really special. To be fair, it kind of sucks that they're having 2 pay-per-views within a week of each other. And the second pay-per-view is just... It doesn't feel at all special compared to All In. Because the All In card, all this build-up and everything that we're getting is fantastic. But we're really getting nothing for All Out. So... yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to see how this next week builds it. So, yeah, let's move on. And now, finally, we're at our main event. Christian Cage, the TNT champion maker, versus Darby Allin. My gosh, what can I say? Again, this was a fantastic match. And they really gave it time. This still had 30 minutes to work with. And it was just a great back and forth between Christian and Darby. There was one point where Luchasaurus, of course, the real TNT champion, got involved. But he was ejected from the match. And after a great back and forth, Darby just got the better of Christian and won. And then, of course, Tony Schiavone comes into the ring to try to interview Darby in his victory. But Christian and Luchasaurus attack Darby after the match. And Christian gets a false pin on Darby to close the show, just to be on top and on the game. And wow, just overall, this is a great show. I'll give the match itself 3.5 stars. It was great, don't get me wrong. You know what, I'm gonna stop saying great. It was good. It could have been a lot better, but Christian getting on in age, it was good. It was good. I'll leave it at that. But that is now the end of the show. And overall, it was a really great show. This was a great go-home show for the go-home show. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy at the end of this. So I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. There's still some room to grow. There could have been a few things that could have knocked this over. For one, the audience. But yeah, that's the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed spending your time with me. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Take take it easy.